Y'all ain't finished. Y'all ain't finished. Make sure you come ready to go this next week.
How about those?
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar podcast, presented by Chiefs Blitz and sponsored by Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a real estate expert, call Eric Haynes today at 816-729-3785. That's 816-729-3785. Now, here is your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar, presented by Chiefs Blitz. I'm your host, Nick Athan, along with my partner in crime, Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports. You can check out the show every Saturday at 1 o'clock on Bowtie Sports YouTube page. Well, here we are again. It's Monday. The Chiefs win. The Royals are in the postseason. And before we talk about all the topics, including the Rashee Rice situation, which we do have some updates on, let's talk about our corporate sponsors. They make the wheels turn here at the Four Guys in a Bar podcast. And first up, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Real Estate Group. If you're looking for someone who can help you buy or sell a house in the greater Kansas City metropolitan area, you know Eric's the man. He will take great care of you. If you click on the link, he'll take you right to his page. He'll let you know what's available in the market. If you're looking to sell a house, buy a house, whatever the situation might be, you need someone you can trust. So give Eric Haynes a call today at 816-729-3785, or you can email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
That he is. Another proud sponsor is my incredible, amazing wife, Emily Athan. It is going to be October tomorrow, which means open enrollment begins November 1st. So if you're looking for a private plan, a government option, whatever it might be, you just want someone to evaluate your personal health coverage experience, look at the ups, the downs, the deductibles, the payments, everything. There's nobody better. Give her a call today at 913-215-9086. Again, 913-215-9086.
Emily.
That's my girl.
Mickey love it.
No question, man.
That's my girl.
That's my girl, you know.
That's my girl.
I wasn't born yesterday. I was born a few years ago. Took me a few tries to get it right, but hey, I finally did. All good. All right, gentlemen. Let's talk about Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman. Tough weekend for Andre with his Arizona Cardinals, but his Bengals won, so it's not a total loss weekend. Of course, the Chiefs win. Royals are in the postseason, but man, oh man, what a crazy weekend in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not just the NFL, but college football as well.
Alabama and Georgia, man. Let's talk about
Friday.
that.
But
Man.
First, I mean, maybe a game that not everybody saw, and this, I guess, would be like part of this six-pack, but not really part of the six-pack because it's college football. But Friday night, the U back, they're in the top 10, the whole thing, and somehow, inexplicably, Virginia Tech's got them on the ropes, and they're playing at home. They're in Miami, and, you know, they're making their comeback and so forth, and then to get the go-ahead touchdown, they run a little play that you may have seen in the Super Bowl, maybe at the end of the Super Bowl. It wasn't Tom and Jerry, but it was more corn dog. The wide receiver, you know, comes in short motion, like right before the snap, and then he darts right back out. Of course, he's wide open for the touchdown, but it didn't stop there because at the end of the game, Virginia Tech, somehow they're completely mismanaged the clock with the ball in their hands, but they get a Hail Mary off, and I don't know how the refs called it a touchdown, but then they overturn it on review, and it kind of brought me back. I don't know if you guys recall. Remember when the NFL used replacement officials, I think, for like the first 2 weeks of the season? Green Bay was playing in Seattle, and at the end of the game, Russell Wilson just kind of tosses one up, and there's a mass of humanity in the end zone, and somehow Golden Tate ends up with the ball or doesn't. Packers take the ball, and it was just like this big to do. It was pretty similar situation,
Right.
but at the end of the day, this one got overturned. That one was ruled a touchdown, and it was just nutty. I just thought there was a little NFL flavor there to the Miami and Virginia Tech game.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad football's here because it's been entertaining. Friday Night Lights, Saturday College, Sunday Pro, Monday Pro. This has been the most crazy 4 weeks of an NFL season that I can remember in a really long time. You got some really good teams that can't win. You've got some teams that are kind of marginal that are winning. I mean, look at the Denver Broncos. My goodness, they go in and they beat Robert Saleh and the New York Jets. 9-8 or whatever it was, 10-9, and they missed a field goal at the end. Aaron Rodgers was bitching and moaning afterwards, calling out his coach, and coach is saying, "Hey, we need to simplify things. We can't do things this way." So clearly, there's a disconnect. The Ravens look like world beaters last night because the Bills couldn't stop the run in King Henry. And it's just the Bengals finally win a game that they should have lost. I mean, the Panthers had 1st and goal in the first quarter at the 3-yard line, and they whiffed. And at the end of the first half, with no time left, another guy whiffs the tackle, and there would have been no field goal, no points because time would have run out, and they get a touchdown. So Bengals are fortunate. Good for them. I'd like to see that they look like they had their act together a little bit more. And then the Chiefs game, which we'll talk about a lot more on Sunday, including the situation with Rashee Rice. But, it's fascinating to me that the NFL never disappoints. And that's the beauty of the sport. And I just wish it lasted longer. Give me 18 games. I'm all in.
Listen. Alabama and Georgia game was a game to highlight.
Yeah.
Was the highlight for me, man. The young 17-year-old got busy.
That is incredible.
A young 17-year-old.
A tale of two halves.
Yeah.
Did you see that catch he made though on the sideline? The catch he made?
I was talking to Dre.
That was wild, man.
I was talking to Dre. I was like, Dre, man, thank God I ain't no coach because, hey, I would took that Georgia Bulldogs quarterback out. You know what I mean? I was like, man, he got to go. He got to go. He's out here throwing these picks. He's not reading the defense well. But hey, the coach stuck around and he turned it around in the fourth quarter and almost brought his team back, but threw that costly interception in the end zone. But
there's another freshman.
Yeah, so
made the pick.
That was a heck of a game. The crowd was electrifying.
Hey.
It was amazing, man. It was amazing.
It was the most unlikely because you had a real
man.
playoff feel to it. So you got two Heisman kind of
gladiators,
front runners, if you would.
Big
Milroe looks like he snatches it in the first half because, like you said, Beck was struggling. Beck looked like he was in a daze. I don't know.
And Beck is pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, he's probably, I don't know. I mean, he and Shador are probably battling for being the top quarterback selected. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
And then it completely flips the second half, and Beck looks like, well, that's the guy we thought he was going to be. And it was just back and forth, the haymakers. It was like a boxing match, and neither fighter would go down.
So Lou, it lived up to expectation, basically what you're saying, player. It lived up to expectation.
For a regular season game. Now, for all those people that were saying, well, 12-team playoff, and the regular season's not going to be as much. Yeah, go ask those players on the field that night if that didn't mean anything. Come on now. If Alabama ends up losing that game, there might have been a riot. I mean, come on, man. Saban's sitting at halftime, and he's doing everything he can not to react when he's on camera.
To go out on the field and just start slapping guys around.
But then all of a sudden Georgia starts the comeback, and now all of a sudden everything that was going right the first half wasn't so much. That was great. That was a great game to watch.
I understand watching it. I was like, okay, Georgia, you got a triple digit lead, right? Why you not draining the clock, right? You're not draining the clock. They still throwing the ball.
I don't know if the triple digit would be like 100 points, but yeah,
not a triple digit. But you know what I mean, Lou. Yeah.
I have no idea what you mean. But okay,
but you know what, guys? Honestly, the game lived up to expectation. But my heart again is the rookie, the receiver. He's only 17 years old, man.
Yeah,
and he put on a show, man. I didn't
even think that was allowed. You should be at least 18 to play
and
football.
The unique thing is this: is when when Saban, evidently, I think they said this on the broadcast as well. When Saban announced his retirement, he decommitted, and then he was visiting Texas A&M, and then Kalen DeBoer had to kind of recruit him all over again.
Oh wow!
To come back, and he's one of those. He's one of those kids. Well, I mean, Texas A&M. I mean, they probably have the most money of any college program anywhere. So I don't know if it was just the money. I think the fact that maybe he kind of showed him some tape of like Roma Dunze and Jalen Polk and Jalen McMillan and what they were doing at Washington, and just what that offense can be for him. And not just as a 17-year-old, but moving forward.
But looking at it, I was like, man, who's the top quarterback that's going to come out this year? Is it Sanders, or is it the guy from Alabama, or is it the guy from Miami?
I think honestly,
Cam Ward's got something. I mean, he's the one that's he's going to be like this year's guy with all the experience, because he's played in so many games. It seemed like he was at Washington State for like 10 years, but it wasn't that long. But Shedeur, I mean, he just is so cool about the way he goes about his business. His accuracy is ridiculous. I mean, just on point. So
Jalen Daniel,
say what you will about Shedeur and just all the bling and the commercials, everything else.
He's clutch
when he plays quarterback. That's next level stuff. I mean, I think if you're okay with his size and everything that comes around him, I think you're going to be, that's my guy, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not quite as tall as, say, like a Carson Beck is.
True. And Travis Hunter played phenomenal too. Did y'all see the Heisman pose he did? Did y'all see the Heisman pose, man?
Yeah.
That was right there. Was the signature this year for Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter,
he's something else.
I feel defense.
I feel bad for the Denver Broncos.
Really?
Yeah, I feel bad for the Broncos. They're not getting him.
He should win the Heisman. I mean, but we'll see. But that was a big win for them going to UCF. They were like 14-point dogs in that game, which I thought was ridiculous. I don't know how they came up with that, but whatever. UCF had been averaging, I don't know, like close to 400 yards rushing a game, and somehow Colorado's defense still got me. They didn't play defense like that all last year or any of the games earlier this season. So that was pretty exciting to see.
Starting to build it up. They're starting to build.
So what do you have for us for the six-pack?
All right, let's do our six-pack before we get into the Rice situation.
Hense? Come on, let's do it. Let's announce this. We've got an audience. It looks like there's somebody watching.
Yeah.
Okay, so every week we do this thing. We're calling it the Weekend Six-Pack. It might be overreactions. It may just be some observations. It might be a little bit of both. But for now, we're just going to call it the Weekend Six-Pack. So let's go. Number one. The Philadelphia Eagles, this is kind of like a schizophrenic team, and do you want to call them? I don't know, but they kind of reverted to their lethargic ways in Tampa. Maybe it was the heat, maybe it was the storm. I don't know what the hell it is, but first half, it was like they weren't even there. And I don't know that it's so much a Tampa problem or a coaching problem, but hear me out on this. Go back to last season, and when everybody got announced to who Big Dom was, he's like the head of security. He was the guy that took a swipe at Debo on the sideline in that game. I don't know that anybody's quite been the same since. He like becomes this celebrity. ESPN's using him on before game promos. He's everywhere Sirianni is. He's like 5 feet away.
Yeah.
Even if the camera's on, like he's like
the
right
enforcer.
So I don't know what's going on with the Eagles. Is that a good team? Is it a bad team? They need a new coach. I don't know.
The Eagles is a bad team to me.
And Big Dom's probably a paisan of mine, so I'm gonna stand up for Big Dom. But it's a little too coincidental.
That coach.
All right. So number two. Well, first off, do you guys have any
Well,
a
yeah, I
reaction
gotta.
to the
No,
overreaction.
so honestly, can we get Baker Mayfield credit again, guys? He went out there and delivered again, man. Baker delivered.
He's
again.
playing great
He
football.
had a good game.
You playing good football. To me,
He and Tom Brady had a little tete-a-tete going.
is what I'm saying. Maybe Tom Brady giving this man some nuggets, man. But here's the thing with the Eagles. The Eagles is horrible. Their defense is horrible. Their offense can't get it together. The tush push ain't the same without Jason Kelce. It ain't the same Eagles team, man. And they just don't got that itch no more.
A little too
They ain't
big
got that
Dom
itch,
centric.
Yeah, the problem is really simple with the Eagles. I mean, Nick Sirianni had the benefit of getting a team to the Super Bowl, lost to the Chiefs, but he had a tremendous defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
and they both left, to become head coaches. And he's never recovered from that. And it just exposes why, the Chiefs didn't keep him around, and he wanted to stay coached with the Chiefs, and they let him go. And I think that, he was like an assistant to the assistant. Yeah, and he just took offense to it, and somehow he worked his way up into, the Eagles situation. But he's done. I mean, the Eagles are cooked. You lose Jason Kelce. Jalen Hurts is not playing good football. They were lucky to beat the New Orleans Saints, thanks to Barkley's incredible day. And they just, and it's shocking to me. They have some of the best wide receiver talent, if not the best in the division for sure.
Well, they're both out. I mean, Devontae and AJ didn't play.
So. I know they didn't play, but still you have to think, okay, well, this is a 1 or 2 game, little gap here, but they're just not playing good football.
No.
And, that's
only bright spot is Barkley.
So what you got next for us?
All right. What's up?
All right. Number 2. We got Washington. This is going to be 2 and 3, but Washington and Minnesota right now in the NFC. Washington they are the best team in the East. At very least, they're the best team in the East. They're arguably the best team in the NFC. And then you've got Minnesota. They kind of stumbled around the second half and let that game get close.
They did.
My God. I mean, Sam Darnold has kind of had a renaissance under Kevin O'Connell. His year with Kyle in San Francisco, got the hell out of New York and Carolina, maybe the 2 most toxic situations there could be. But are we looking at the 2 best teams in the NFC right now?
I believe so. I believe
you're looking at one. I think Washington is actually that team. I'm not a believer in Minnesota. I feel like it's going to be that team. I'm serious.
Hold on, Nick. I know. Hold on now. Hold on. Go.
Are we going to let him dig this hole deeper?
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Play. Jesus Christ.
Dig it.
What I'm saying is this, man. I'm just saying, like, it's always that team, like one of them teams that be good at the beginning of the year, the next year, they just plummet out of nowhere. They just go straight to crap. And I feel like it's that team. I mean, I feel like I feel like they're gonna go straight to crap, man. I just got that feeling. And I feel like Washington is at the team that's be the biggest team that's a threat to everybody in the NFC right now. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people gave up on Kingsbury. Nobody didn't think he can coach or anything. I feel like that's going to be a second time for him to get a second coaching job. Shoot, heck, if Andy Reid decides to hang it up tomorrow, hey, I will bring in Kingsbury, bring him in with Patrick Mahomes. But other than that, I feel like the Washington Commanders is the better team of the 2.
Yeah, well, I think as far as the Vikings are concerned, they beat 3 teams that were in the final 8 playoff teams last year so far. So, and the defense is for real. I mean, it's not smoke and mirrors, and they kind of handled.
I'm trying to tell.
They kind of handled all these teams, right? The San Francisco game wasn't nearly as close as the final score was. They crushed Houston, that again was finally a playoff team, and now they go into Green Bay and win. Now that's not taking anything away from what Washington is doing and what Cliff is doing, but I think. And I think we mentioned it before, is like some guys are just meant to be coordinators. They're not really meant to be like the overseer of an entire operation. And I'm not saying Cliff doesn't deserve a second chance, but maybe this is what he does.
Yep.
And the other thing too, if you watch them play, this isn't the old air raid offense.
No, it's different.
He has changed it up, different position.
That man is a mastermind. That man is.
He's using tight ends more, and I think it will continue to advance as the season goes on because you're starting with a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But the kid started 55 in college.
He's a young Andy Reid.
He's hitting over 80%. I mean, he's thrown like 19 incomplete passes the whole season, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know how it continues, but I'm here for it. I think
he's great. Honestly, I think he learned from his state with the Arizona Cardinals. He got his feel for the air raid, and I feel like he took exactly what he learned from over there and implemented. You know what I'm saying? More of an NFL style to the air raid over there because what's he doing over there? They got a good offensive line over there. They got a good running game over there, and he utilizes Ertz.
Two former Chiefs on that offensive line.
Absolutely. And Ertz look good, man. Gotta give credit to Ertz, man. But again,
and Wiley.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the ball placement is phenomenal. The ball placement is phenomenal what he's doing over there. The ball placement, man, like the ball get hyped, he's throwing the ball immediately. But they're accurate throws, though. So they're pinpoint throws, though. So, and then on top of it, hold on, Bo. On top of that, then the defense is playing pretty well too, though. The defense is playing pretty well. So that's my take. I believe they're gonna win the East.
Man, come on.
Two best teams in the NFC. All right, let's go to 4.
I ain't get my take, man. Don't rush me, man.
Number 4. Now, you guys have heard the term, like, usually it's referred to in basketball. It's a critical time of the game. Whether the other team's coming back or you're about to kind of seal the victory and somebody hits a dagger 3.
Right.
Well, last night in the Baltimore-Buffalo game, Derrick Henry hit the dagger 3 on the first play of the game.
Yeah.
He called game, right? I mean, just bust through the defense, 87 yards or whatever, longest run in Ravens history. And I think Buffalo they never recovered. But that was just masterful. This is kind of, I think, what they expected. Not so many passes, more running, and then just sprinkle in passes here and there when you need to. But he and Lamar together, maybe this is what they envisioned all along. But yeah, Derrick Henry called game on the first play.
Yeah, he did. Go ahead.
I called game on the first cube announcement when I said Buffalo is not no playoff team. I said Buffalo is going to go plumbing. Everybody said
it's still early. It's still early now. It's still early.
Start for another 16 weeks.
Yeah, we got a little bit more time for that.
I don't believe. Okay,
I don't. Fair.
So wait. So Buffalo 3-1, and what's Baltimore record? What's the Baltimore Ravens record right now? So
they're 2-2.
They're 2-2.
Yeah.
So listen. I think King Henry is great. The Buffalo Bills they don't have the defensive line. They're not disciplined enough in the gaps. That's why he had the game. But I thought
4 or 5 starters on defense.
The best part, and they're depleted defensively. Josh Allen was exposed a little bit, but that's where they missed Diggs last night. I mean, that was they didn't have that guy. I mean, look at this guy.
What happened to him?
Unless Diggs can tackle.
Grinning. He's grinning on that picture. All right, number 5.
All right, so number 5. Watching the Chiefs play so far this year, and I'm sure most fans agree, is like yesterday. I referred to the game as like a dentist appointment. That was a tough watch. You have to be there. It's going to be dull. It's going to be numbing. It's just going to be like, okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this, and then we'll feel better at the end. And that's kind of the way it went. So I'm just like watching them play and then watching how dominant this defense can be and still is. And when Spags gets in his bag, it's just beautiful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of reminds me of the early 80s San Francisco 49ers before they got like Jerry Rice and John Taylor and became this explosive offense. I mean, Freddie Solomon, Dwight Clark, Earl Cooper, you had a bunch of guys that just, kind of no names on the offense. And it kind of looks like that's the way where the Chiefs are. But the defense is the real team that San Francisco's defense never ever got the credit that they probably deserved during that run because the offense was so good. So that was kind of my memory as far as, hey, the Chiefs football kind of looks like that, and it may continue to look like that throughout this season.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, they are bend but don't break defense, man. They gonna do what it takes to get the job.
They're not even bending.
Right. They're not bending.
You know,
they're not doing the bending, huh?
The first it seems like the first series every week is like this learning experience. They don't get off the field, they give up points, and you're like, what the hell's happening here? And then they just shut it down. It's like, we just want to see what you're going to do. And then once we get a beat on it, you are screwed.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about this defense is that you look at that situation and it's like, you know, every NFL coach offensively has, you know, the first 15. They run the 15 plays they're going to run no matter what to see how the defense reacts. So what happened in the game yesterday is that the Chargers never got off the 15 plays. They just kind of repeated things, and the Chiefs were figuring it out. You know, they did a terrific job holding J.K. Dobbins to 37 yards or something, 33 yards or something like that on 17 carries. And you look at the way they adjusted. I mean, Jalen Watson, that's the best he's ever looked in a Chiefs uniform. He was terrific. I mean, just terrific on the cornerback and what he shut down. But yeah,
he did drop that interception and threw it right to him.
He should have caught it.
He would have had. I mean, it was a really good game by him. He makes that play. Now you're talking about him maybe potentially defensive player of the week.
He was good. Well, that's going to go to Chris Jones. He was just a train wreck. He was a train wrecker. All right, last one, Lou. Let's hit it. Number 6.
Okay, last one. Arguably, and I don't know if it's arguably, but Patrick's maybe the worst play of his career, right? He sees Kelsey, kind of overshoots it. I'm saying more accurate pass. I think Kelsey comes down with it. Then Coach Reed today was mentioning how, you know, maybe Worthy was the right read on that one, and he should have thrown it to Worthy. But anyway, and then at the end of it, he tries to make a blind tackle and takes out Rashee Rice. So I'm going to say it right now. This was the worst play of Patrick's career.
It was pretty bad.
The worst play. I cussed him out 18,000 ways.
He called me and goes, "What's wrong with this guy? What is he doing?"
On Sunday. I took off his jersey. I put it in the closet. Wow. I said, I am done.
Hence is fair weather, man.
He is playing retarded this year.
He's not taking
advantage of.
I'm gonna say this. Guy, he's not drinking the Mahomes drink no more. He's not drinking the drink no more.
Forget the prime. Forget this Captain Crunch boxes on my desk. You took out my favorite player.
Oh, that's why you're mad. Okay, I got you.
Favorite player on the Chiefs.
Why else would he be upset?
That's what I was saying. But I love Pat.
And tell them what you told me they should do. What wide receivers should they pluck off another NFL roster?
I feel like they should go get Traylon Burks. I feel like Traylon Burks.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about your boy
Brandon Rice. Come on, Brandon Rice. No, Nick, you're right. It's Brandon Rice.
Brandon Rice. He's got to be available, right?
He got to be
in the Chargers practice squad. Yeah,
he hasn't signed that UFL contract yet.
But looking at it, man, it got to be the worst play. And I know a lot of Chiefs fans on Twitter was going nuts. Patrick Mahomes was under fire. I mean, if you go back and watch the tweets and look at it and everything, I didn't tweet nothing out there. I just said it amongst my man cave, right? I just said it amongst my man cave, and I said it to Nick.
I think Spags has got to get with Patrick and say, hey, you're going to make a tackle. You got to hit what you see. You can't turn your head and just throw yourself into people's legs.
Yeah, we don't need him to be a tackler.
But looking at
go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
But looking at that,
we don't mean to make light of Rashee's injuries, so don't add us on that. But it was just kind of a little tongue in cheek. Yes, it was the worst play of Patrick's, but it really was.
Yeah, but looking at that, losing Rice is a problem. Veach needs to make a call right today. Correct? Who?
I don't know about today. But, Brent's a pretty aggressive dude. I mean, he's going to make calls. Now, what he hears on the other end, you never know, right? I've heard all the different people making these lists and all these guys or whatever. I mean, realistically, my short list, guys that could be available in trade, right? I think D-Hop, you got D-Hop there. I don't, I know they signed Tyler Boyd, but I mean, is he actually playing games for the Titans? Playing. We'll see if he plays tonight. Right. But that's a guy I think they had some interest in before they brought Juju in.
They did.
Would they be able to restructure Amari Cooper's contract enough to have him fit
for next year?
Because you really have to look at this moving forward, because there's no guarantee that Hollywood comes back next year.
Right.
If it is a torn ACL, then there's a suspension next year, you're not 100% sure you're going to have Rashee Rice for most of the next year.
You won't see him until the end of October.
So, you have to be thinking next year as well.
Right.
Cincinnati would never do it, but I would imagine they would like to get something for T. Higgins. I don't think they just don't want him to walk. But again, they're going to be in the play. They're going to feel that they're in the playoff race, and there's no way in hell they're going to try to help the Chiefs. But you would think a guy on the franchise tag that is basically out the door might be available. Some long shots. I mean, we've talked about Kyle Pitts in the past. I mean, he's just a big wide receiver, and
that's all he is.
They don't really use him much in Atlanta. Maybe a kid like that might be available. He's a former first round pick. Veach loves those first round reclamation projects, so he might be worth it.
Man, my God, man.
And then we don't know what's the status of Can't Guard Mike, right? Michael Thomas. Is he healthy?
He's old.
If he is healthy, right? If he is healthy, why isn't he signed with anyone?
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear some feedback there.
Just inconsistent with Michael Thomas.
There's several guys that if he wants to make a move, we'll see. But he definitely is going to make calls. He's going to be aggressive. We'll just have to see what the compensation is, for a trade.
Well,
go ahead, Nick.
I think, well, go ahead. You talk about Nico, and then I'll give everybody an update on what I'm hearing about Rice.
Yeah, man.
The Nico Mafia? Have they come out yet?
What's up with Nico, man? What's up with Nico, man? Go ahead and get Nico that role. Let him come in there and show us.
I thought you were going to say Justin Ross.
That's another guy, but I'm talking about Nico right now. But that's a good point. But Nico, man, Nico been playing pretty good. I think it's time for Nico to get his opportunity.
Yeah, I think he will. So this whole Rashee Rice thing is it's gotten a little weird today. Normally when there's an ACL injury, it's pretty much announced first thing in the morning, but it hasn't. And Andy Reid made a comment today that they're doing additional testing. And now Ian Rappaport just put something out that said, well, it's clear there's an injury and it's clear he's going to miss some time for the conceivable future, but he didn't say what the situation is. Now, I've been told a couple of things, and when people say stuff to me and people that I think are in the know, sometimes you don't know the difference between what it is and wishful thinking. So the consensus is, in my opinion, is maybe, just maybe, from the miracle luck of the NFL gods, that maybe the tear isn't that bad. It can be healed normally, or maybe it's a strain. That would be the most optimistic view. He's still going to be out a couple of months no matter what, but the fact that this has taken a long time, and Andy went out of his way to say, yeah, he's doing additional testing. Now, Andy never talks about this stuff like that. So there was a lot of swelling from what I was told, obviously. And, I don't know if the MRI was conclusive enough. So the Chiefs are holding back. That doesn't mean it isn't an ACL tear and he's out for the season. I just think it's kind of strange and how it kind of is all unfolded today. And again, just intel that I've been able to pick up, there's a small smidgen of hope that maybe they can get him back this year, but I still think that's a tall order.
When what I was told was similar along those lines as well. So I just hope that my guy gets it right. It get it wherever it is wrong on this knee, get it fixed, and maybe God for heaven that he can come back this year. But
Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
If we looking at these guys and on that list that Lou puts out there, Michael Thomas is big name for me, and also Amari Cooper. If the Chiefs does get Amari Cooper, and like he posted on Instagram earlier, he said, "Hey, I wouldn't mind that at all." And then he took it down a few minutes later.
I thought that was great, wasn't it? I wouldn't mind that at all. I love it.
But he puts it out there and he takes it down. So what do you guys think about that? Go ahead.
Well, I think Cooper's best fit. He's by far the best fit. And when he got traded, when he got traded from the Cowboys and went to the Browns, he was pretty sensational. He adjusted really quickly, and that was with kind of some instability at quarterback. So I think he would be my number one guy. Again, if like Lou said, they'd have to restructure his contract, and he'd have to be willing to. It's going to probably cost the Chiefs, I would guess, one of their third-round picks.
But if you're looking at it, then if Rashee Rice is going to be out, then you got him. That suspension is going on top of that. Then why not? Here's the
one thing that we have to keep in mind. No matter what moves the Kansas City Chiefs make, the objective now is with a 4-0 start. The objective is to have this team ready to go, playing its best football in December for January playoffs. So they've got 8 weeks, 7-8 games to kind of figure it out. They're not in any jeopardy of losing the division. The Chargers aren't going to do it. The Raiders, Broncos, even though the Broncos have won 2 in a row, it isn't going to happen. So no one's going to catch the Chiefs unless there's a Mahomes injury or something along those lines. So for me, what is it going to look like? Is Hollywood Brown coming back in late December instead of January? Is Isaiah Pacheco going to come back? If I'm the Chiefs, I go get a stud running back who's got blazing speed, and that'll shore up the middle of the field real fast. It'll force teams to pull up their secondary, and they can't play the cover 2 and sit back in zone. So,
it was looking like they got
Kareem Hunt looked really good, but what's he going to be like in 4 or 5 weeks after he's been hit a bunch? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think he looked great. Adrenaline was flowing.
5 yards of carry, got 5 yards of carry.
Yeah. So
play it.
Yeah, I think you probably are going to go practice squad. To me, that makes the most sense. They don't practice again until Thursday, so because they got the Monday night game against the Saints. But that's how they have to look at it. Now, if a team is willing to make a trade, and the Chiefs don't have to give up too much, then I'd say do it. But again, Kathy Welch makes a great point. Well, how does this affect? Will Hollywood be back next year? I mean, he's injury prone. He's had some issues.
Bingo.
So that's the problem the Chiefs face. So how bad do they want to three-peat? I can tell you from talking to people in the organization firsthand, it is the number one goal. They want this place in NFL history. They want it. They can see it. They believe it. They have the quarterback and the head coach, the defensive coordinator.
I think that's pretty much the goal every single year. It just happens.
But this is different, obviously.
It happens to be 3 in a row at this point. The problem is with a trade is a lot of these teams. It depends. I mean, they're feeling like there's still plenty of time in the season. They don't want to sell early, right? So it might get pushed to like the trade deadline that comes up this year. I think around week 9.
Yeah, it's after the election. I think it's the day after the election. Yeah.
So you've got some time to kind of, I don't know, figure things out on your own, which I'm sure they'll do because they always do. And I think again, I know, I talk about him a lot, but I don't know. Every time the ball goes towards 83, it ends up in a catch and usually a first down.
Right.
So I think he's going to become a lot more involved, especially in the middle of the field. Now, he doesn't have quite the professional wide receiver speed, but he's still pretty quick.
Yeah.
He played wide receiver at Duke. So I think you're going to see him involved a little bit more. And then they brought Juju in for a reason. Okay. At the time, I couldn't see it. Well, now here we are. Now the reason is here. Are you ready? Are you ready for that role? And he was able to do it last time he was here. Can you do it again?
He should be able to. He's healthy.
He was out there. Did he get targeted once yesterday?
No, because I think they were focused on getting the ball to Hunt, and they were trying to open up the middle of the field a little bit. I don't think he was in the game plan other than in running situations, but that'll change this week. He'll get more offensive attention from Patrick Mahomes on Monday night. No question.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, is Patrick Mahomes not seeing the field properly? Fourth quarter played during the first 4 games. What do we got to say about this, Coach? Go ahead and break this down. What do you got to say?
Man, looking at the game from Patrick Mahomes, to me, he's playing so inconsistent, guys. I don't know he's panicking because the pressure's getting to him. I don't know the pressure's getting to him. I don't know he's forcing the pass to Kelsey, trying to feed Kelsey the ball. My thoughts on it. I think Mahomes wants the deep ball. I think he wants the deep ball so bad to where he's not being patient. He don't like the patient game for real. He wants to force the ball downfield. He wants to throw the ball downfield. So it can be a plethora of different things, man. But Mahomes is playing inconsistent, man. Very inconsistent. And the defense is helping him. The defense is building them out.
Basically looking at it, if the defense wasn't good like this, guys,
right?
Be realistic as all Chiefs fans in your hearts. We all know we'll be at 0-4 right about now.
We'd be 1-3 like the Bengals, yeah.
Yeah.
We 1-3 or 0-4, best case scenario, right?
Right.
Again, Patrick Mahomes done this before. He can do it again. Andy Reid, I called Nick yesterday. Nick was like, I don't know, man. I said, hey, you got one of the coaches, man. It's right now. This is where you see what your coach is going to do. Adjust to the game. Everybody with the offensive line, what the offense is going to do is they're going to Patrick Mahomes is going to blame himself for his injury or stuff like that. But I seen him come back when I seen that bomb to Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, this guy still gets it. This guy's still going to get it around. I just feel like he's just not trusting the offensive line.
That's the
problem.
What
it is. I think it's the fear, man, because Dupree was getting off. Dupree was getting off on that side. I think it was Taylor's side, I believe. He was getting off, man, real big. It was collapsing that line. But again, guys, I think Mahomes he don't like the patient game for real. He doesn't like that, or it could be the person getting to him. I'm looking at the game like he wanted to force the ball downfield. He wanted to force that ball downfield, guys. You don't have time to, because in order for that to happen, you got to have a stable offensive line, and they don't have it right now. So that's going to be the case too.
My take is this: I think the biggest issue with Patrick is he's in constant adjustment mode. He worked with Hollywood Brown from the day after he signed his contract to the first preseason game. Every day, every workout, they were making incredible plays in practice. Well, he's gone. Okay, now I got to adjust my game. And then Pacheco goes out and Rice goes out in back-to-back weeks. And it's like, okay, more pressure falls on me. So everything is under a microscope. And the offensive line, the interior of the offensive line is not pass blocking very well. I mean, they were terrible yesterday in that department for the most part. When, just the way that the Chargers were lining up with their edge rushers and the fact that they disguised their blitzes, they just didn't have guys back there that could see all that. And then when they did do a good job pass protecting, it was a fault. It was a holding penalty. A lot of penalties. Juwan Taylor still looks like he's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Kingsley's the answer at right tackle. I think Wanya Morris played well.
He did.
Considering he went up against one of the Khalil Mack, who's one of the most gifted pass rushers, but he's flighty, man. He'll have one really good game of 3 or 4 sacks or 2 sacks, and then you won't see him for a couple of weeks. But I think Wanya Morris did a tremendous job. So, and I think now with Hunt, he's probably comfortable to say, okay, I got a guy I can count on. Because Samaje Perine, I love him, but he doesn't have a lot of speed. And the running back situation with with Steele is
fumble issues, man.
He learned a valuable lesson yesterday. You fumble again, not only you're not going to play in the game, but you might be going, you're not going to play. You may not play again. And so for me, Patrick is just he's not trusting his offensive line when they're blocking well to be patient enough down from one down to the next. I just think the clock's going off sometimes too soon in his head, and he's not moving around as much as he did. He has to move around more. Not panic and move around when he has to, but even running the ball yesterday for him, he had a lot of opportunities.
It was one play that he did yesterday, and my son was screaming. He was like, "Why are you running out the freaking pocket?" It was no reason to run.
Yeah,
and then nobody was pressuring him. He just ran out the pocket Couldn't find nobody. So it's no trust there. But Worthy was wide open going down the sideline, waving his hand, going down the sideline. I was like, come on, man. But again, I love Pat, but hey, sometimes we criticize other players, and sometimes we gotta criticize our own. Sometimes you gotta sit there, you gotta sit there in the pocket and see what's there. If it's not there, then throw it away. Not just
and that's the issue too, Bo. Good point. That's the issue too, because he want to stay there, but he can't because the damn pocket is collapsing on him, man. So it's like a lot.
All right, Lou, give us the voice of reason here.
Well, I think the Chargers did a really good job of maintaining their rush lanes. So, when he wants to step out or step through, they were, again, kind of like that umbrella, whereas a lot of times what you'll see is the ends will come crashing, coming around, then they'll dip inside, and it's a natural backdoor out for the quarterback. And you always said, well, keep your rush lanes, especially when you're playing against Lamar and these guys that can move. So we'll give them a little credit there. As far as seeing the field, I mean, this is, just about every season, he'll go through a few games where he just is human. We'll throw some bad balls, or even when he hits somebody, it's not an accurate throw that allows them to just catch the ball and go. Right. And we've seen it, just about every game where it'll be a little bit behind or a little bit low. And in most times the guy will still catch it, but then he'll get tackled immediately, or he doesn't catch it. And it's like, wow, how the hell did he miss that? So it's just like and again, I always liken things back to basketball and like shooters. You got to get in the rhythm. You got to see a few of them, whether it's a free throw, a layup, you see it go through the basket. Now, all of a sudden, you get into a rhythm, and all of a sudden everything is flowing. And it's just like, the basket looks like it's, it's a peach basket, right?
Speaking of,
again, he will find it. It's just a matter of how long and when.
Yeah, he'll get there.
Nick made a good point though. It's the chemistry, Lou. Like you said, it's the personnel, man. You keep flip flopping personnel back in there. You don't got your chemistry no more, so everything is off. So, yeah.
Speaking of chemistry, can we see enough from Kelsey that game that Kelsey can say, "Keep your name out of my mouth"? What you got? What you got to say about this, Nick? You shaking your head.
It's just such a nothing burger story, that he's washed up. I mean, listen, we've all watched Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Some of us a little bit longer than some. He loves the game. He's not doing anything different in practice. There's nobody harder on him than himself. And I think when you look at his game yesterday, they made a focal point. They just kind of said, okay, enough's enough. Let's show everybody. That opened up some things for the worthy plays. And that's what this offense is going to be. But, he should retire. He's done. It's the Taylor Swift effect. Well, she hasn't been to the last two games. Is there a problem with the relationship? I mean, people are just throwing crap out there because, let's be honest,
when you put it out there,
NFL teams make the defensive coordinators. We got to stop Travis, and the reason these people are so upset is because and get all fiery about their comments that he's washed up is they don't want to see him in a Chiefs uniform anymore. They're done because he knows he's going to eventually beat them, and they don't have answers for it. And the Chargers have a good defense. And they had a good plan with Kelsey.
They did.
And it worked at times, but they could have gotten those two could have had a bigger day. But I'm just glad he's kind of out of the funk. And now we're going to see, the Travis Kelce we expect, because without Rice, he has to be that guy again. And he'll step up to the challenge.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. I mean, one game, he normally kills the Chargers. So, I mean, it was almost a given that he was going to have a decent game. Now, was it a breakout game? I don't know. I don't even know what that means. But the bottom line is it started off perfectly, right?
Yeah.
He gets himself open down the sideline. Here we go. We're rolling. Next play, fumble. So it just kind of takes the air out of everything, whether it's Patrick, whether it's Travis, everybody. The entire offense just feels like, here we go again type thing. So it's, their momentum. Momentum is real, and you can't see it.
It goes both ways.
You can't see it, but you can certainly feel it, and you get going in the wrong direction. It can really kill you. But these guys have done it enough they've shown enough over the years that when it comes down to, I don't know if they say it in the country or wherever, nut cutting time, that's when
that's what it is. That's what it is, Lou.
They raise their game, and we'll see. But
no, I'm gonna say this, Lou, real quick. It just comes back down to reality, guys. They was all up here. Everybody had Kelsey, Mahomes, a super duo. I mean, they normal, they human, man. It is what it is. They're gonna have their hiccups and whatnot. But here's the thing: is this the Chiefs are putting it together. There's no pressure on them no more. It's pressure, but it's not that big of a pressure, right? They just want to win games and get to the playoffs.
If you only have to score 17 points a game because your defense is that good,
why force it? Just win games.
2 months to figure it out.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is.
And speaking of figuring it out, is Kareem Hunt is when he came back, he's with a big bang.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is back with a bang, guys. Yes, he is back with a Kareem, my God, I told everybody last couple of days, man, right? The interior fits Kareem Hunt, guys. It fits Kareem Hunt because they're physical. And Kareem is physical. I said, guys, he got 5 yards per carry. He was getting the average of 5 yards. I'm like, he doubled down, man, from what he had in Cleveland. He didn't miss a step, man. I said he was getting going. That's all.
Well, he's got fresh legs. He's going. He hasn't played.
Hey, fresh leg. He onto that ball, Nick. It wasn't a hiccup.
Legs, Forrest Gump legs. It doesn't matter.
That man, he ate. You hear me? That man ate. So the thing is this. Now you have a legitimate running back, guys, that knows Andy Reid, that knows the offense, guys. He didn't disappoint. He did not disappoint. So you got that right there. So it takes a lot of pressure off Patrick Mahomes. Maybe this is what it is. Maybe it's a Kareem year.
And they didn't know what they had entering the game.
You see what Mango said? He said, "Fun fact." What do you say? Put it up.
It doesn't have fun fact. Yeah, Scott Moore doesn't have a catch in 43 snaps. All right, it is what it is. He's not the next man up. Andy still believes in him until Andy decides differently.
So, Nick, what's your thoughts on Kareem, Nick? What's your thoughts?
Well, for me, I was pleasantly surprised that he was as productive. He caught a couple of balls out of the backfield, which was good for him. That was one of his bread and butter plays for the Chiefs. And I think if he breaks one or two of those, then people are going to see. I thought his speed was good. Mm-hmm. I thought his power was good. His decision making was good. He didn't really run into the backside of his lineman like Pacheco does sometimes.
Come on, talk about it.
I was a little surprised they gave the ball to P. Ryan there to get a touchdown, but
touchdown.
But and he set up that whole drive by making a couple of really big plays. So I think for me, if Kareem Hunt is still running like this when we get to December, then this offense is going to be just fine because they have a combination of backs that they can throw in there to do different things, and Hunt can take the lead. It's a 1-year deal. It's only for this year, so they can just wear his legs out, and it doesn't matter. And the kid's motivated. He's happy to be back in Kansas City. And he showed that, and he played it like that yesterday. So if he brings that same energy and style, you give me 80, 90 all-purpose yards every single game. And Kelsey, continues to do his thing, and Worthy continues to do his thing. But he was terrific, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought he'd be rusty, but he didn't seem too rusty to me.
Yeah, I figured about 10 or 12 touches before the game started, and then of course the problem with Carson, and now all of a sudden he's going to get more. So if they run him like 15 to 17 times a game, catch 3 or 4 passes as well, I don't know. I mean, as soon as this signing was official, I went and tried to pick him up on both fantasy teams, and luckily I got him. Everybody was racing to get Steele and P. Ryan. I'm like, no way. Eventually, he's going to be the bell cow. You hope Carson doesn't hang his head too much and stays with it and decides to kind of just keep working, because they're gonna need him to get the ball maybe 10 times a game. Right. And then throw P. Ryan in a few
he's got to figure it out.
But as far as Kareem is concerned, I didn't see anything that was different. We'd like to see, maybe once he breaks one, we'll see if he still has the overall speed, but the contact balance was there. Reading the line of scrimmage was there. So I think that's as well as could have been expected.
Yeah, Harold makes a good point. He's got running back vision, and he showed it. And that's been the problem with Pacheco. And again, I'm not dogging the guy. I just don't think he has the vision.
He got a good burst though, Nick, but it's just the vision. Like
you can't just keep running into the back of your offensive lineman. You've got to break. You got to go left and right. And you look at the count. You look at the counter runs that a couple of these teams when the Chiefs have given up runs, it's been the counter run. It's been the cutback because they're not holding their lanes. And then the first period, they didn't do a good job with the run, and then they just shut it down after that when they started. To work their gap assignments and attack more.
Dobbins was averaging 6-7 yards a carry, ended up under
he did.
2.
Yeah, he did. That run defense, the Kansas City.
The Chiefs have been terrible.
Gus Edwards really didn't do much.
Real quick, highlight. One quick highlight. Did y'all see that block with the number 12? Was that Wiley with the block on Dupree?
Yeah, Wiley on the big pass to Noah Gray. That was Wiley's block
on the back end. Yeah,
I like that. See, I pay attention, Bo.
But paying attention.
That was your guy.
Speaking of paying attention right now, Xavier Worthy looked like he's off to the race. He looked like he's going to one week by one week, another week by another week. He's getting better and better and better and better. Just like that, like they're trying to close out the game against the Falcons. It was the same play. But he stopped on a route, but they closed it out. He came back and did it the same play, and he closed it out the last game. No matter what they can say about the kid, fragile, bony, skinny, big hammock, can't fit his shoulder pads.
Wait. No. You said that.
I didn't heard all that.
We talked about Ryan Williams from Alabama.
Why don't you sit there and laugh, Nick?
We talked about Ryan Williams from Alabama earlier. I mean, that's a Xavier Worthy clone.
Yeah, they're the exact same player.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the speed in the world.
Where's your prime drink at, Bo? Where's that prime drink at?
And I guess what we'll have to see from Xavier is, can he ramp up his development to take kind of the heat off of not having Rashee around? Can he do that? I mean, I'm sure they're going to keep giving him more every week. So it's just, again, a matter of time, just like Rashee last year.
Yeah, I think what impressed me the most, it was like, let's set aside the 54-yard bomb that he caught one-handed with another guy draped out holding his other arm, but it was like a 3rd and 4, and he ran the Rice route, I think, in the third quarter. And, got the first down. And then the last play, again, another Rice route, coming over the middle. That's the signature play that Rice, has been so successful. It's the same one they ran in the Super Bowl when it was 3rd and 6. And with his speed, which gives him an advantage over Rice, he just creates separation. You can't catch him in that situation. When
they weren't playing man much that game.
Yeah.
Right. And then on that critical play, they were. And I think even Coach Reed said that was an alert. Patrick switched from the first play to that one because he saw that they were in man. Yeah, he gets going across the field. Nobody's going to catch him. All you got to do is lay it out there for him. And the next thing you know, game over.
And that's the advantage he has with that speed, guys. Like plays like that,
right?
Because there's nobody.
Unless he runs into traffic, if he can navigate the traffic and get by those folks and doesn't get knocked around, then they're not going to catch
that
him.
Man-to-man deep slant is over.
Yeah. Speaking of man-to-man, it's one guy that's out here shutting people down because he's man-to-man, and that's Watson, right? This kid is out here. Like I was calling Dre. I called Dre last night. We was talking about the cornerbacks is playing good. I said everybody is sleeping on Jalen Watson right now. He ain't giving up no touchdowns. He ain't doing. He's playing. The only big play that happened was in the Cincinnati game, and that was actually his fault. Cooks came down on a safety and left that wide open.
Folks, these were the same guys that were calling for Xavier Howard because
I'm still am.
Number two corner.
This is Bo's take. This is Bo's take. But I'm still
there's your bow tie special right there.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. The kid is out here playing ball.
Absolutely,
he is. So you got to give credit where the credit's due. So what you think about it, Mr. Mustache? What you got to say, Mr. Lou?
I don't know. Maybe there was somebody on the show saying that they had a number 2 corner. It was either going to be number 2 or number 35. Right?
Let me grab it right here. With the corner of this thing. Go ahead, Lou. Go ahead. What you got to say?
Jalen Watson is a really good player, and they stole him in the 7th round.
The Pizza Hut kid.
Yeah, came from a high-B grocery store.
That was the first guy they tapped from Washington State. They go back to Washington State and get Jaden Hicks. Well, we haven't seen much from him yet.
He played yesterday. He played in a couple of key situations.
That could be another steal there as well. But no, Jalen Watson's got. I mean, I don't know. He showed it his rookie year. He played well last year. He's good, and he's showing it, right? I mean, I said earlier, short of dropping that interception, I don't know, no one ever plays a perfect game, but it was pretty close.
He played up to specs, expectations, basically.
The light's on right now, and I hope it stays on because they need him. You know, McDuffie is the guy. They need a number 2. I thought Najee Johnson in those opportunities played really well. I didn't see, Cook's really struggling at the safety position.
He's struggling.
He still seems slow.
Jaden Hyatt, please.
He still seems a little slow to me.
Calm down. You said Hicks. You said Hyatt, right?
I must get
after the bye week. I guarantee you, after the bye week, you're going to see Hicks play more.
He showed that high knee speed in Germany last year on the touchdown. I don't know. I mean, I still think Brian Cook's
he showed that cartoon speed.
To answer Mango's question, yes, Justin Reed's contract is up after this season. There have been no contract talks yet.
But looking at going into this, 3 things the Chiefs need to improve on against the Saints coming into this next Monday night game. What you guys got to do? Go ahead, Dre.
Honestly, just protect Patrick Mahomes, man. Just protect Mahomes. Just improving that part. I believe everything. Gus, Mahomes, just be patient. Protect Mahomes. Mahomes just need to be patient and let the defense come to him. Just be patient. And on top of that, now you got Kareem Hunt. Now you can run the ball. Now you can really take the pressure off. Use Kareem Hunt now. Now you have a solidified run game. So run the ball, man. Run the ball.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the next guy up at the receiver position. Expand Worthy's role. Get Kareem Hunt in open space. Patrick obviously has got to trust his offensive line. They have to play better. I mean, the Saints have a really good defense. I mean, the Chiefs are playing, 5 games in a row with 5 really good defenses and really good coordinators that they're going up against, and they're 4-0 and have not played anywhere close to what we would consider good football offensively. So for me, they've had great success against Carr. So I just want the defense to dominate and get in his face. And so I think it's very important that they kind of take the good things from the Chargers game, implement them for this week, get a win. They've got their bye week, and then you make all your adjustments. If Omenihu comes back, FAU played, I thought, a really good game yesterday. That's 2 games in a row. He's balled out. Got a couple of pressures. So for me, it's like take the good, expand upon it, get a win, and then do your regrouping, and then kind of figure out, okay, what are we going to be for the next 6 weeks so we get in a playoff mode and get playoff ready.
I got a message that's saying that they are interested in Brandon Rice, so be a lookout.
There you go. All right.
Did Jerry text you?
So turnovers and penalties, number 1.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Can't turn it over, especially when the offense is rolling. I'm not going to. You hate to throw a blanket over play calling. I don't think it's play calling, but it seems like they just need to get in a rhythm offensively. It seems really choppy. It's not like this. Let's run these plays to set up those plays. And there's no rhythm to it. It just seems like a lot of disparate plays. Or when they decide to run the ball, all of a sudden they start mashing. And it's like, okay, we're going to keep running until they stop us, which is good. So I like that. So turnovers and penalties, a little bit better rhythm on offense. And I guess at the end of the day, Patrick, let's take some more deep shots in my mind. They did take the one. Now, again, there was a bunch more called. But, again, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's Patrick, not trusting it or whatever it is, like to see them, again, just attempt them. Get the defense loosened up a little bit so the over the middle stuff is much more wide open.
I'll say this, man. Stop the bonehead plays. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. Because if you look at the offense, they get going, then here it goes, a false start. about my guy. I like my guy. I really do. I
Oh,
love
man, put a name on it. Put a name on it.
Taylor. I really do. But God dang it, God, look at me. I understand you want to be the fastest offensive lineman getting off the snap, but sometimes you got to set your feet and set your hips. And before you can't get off false starts until they're going to move it. And also, Patrick Mahomes, be yourself. Bring back the mashes crunch like I got up here.
Yep.
Be yourself. Stop
Remember,
forcing the ball.
Open up the box of crunch. Open up the box of crunch then.
let them.
No,
You
that's
gotta
sacrilegious. You can't do it.
and stop shooting yourself in the foot, man. And then this offense will be great because the defense is bringing in what they did in the postseason, all off season, and last year. It's still continuing over, but this offense is also continuing over for what they did last year, right? Yeah. Come on, we got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. We still trying to get back to this offense that we was with Tyreek Hill. Heck,
not anymore.
Heck, as Miami Dolphins keep losing, why not go see what you can get for Tyreek Hill?
No, there's no way they could fit him under the cap.
See, the cube had lost its function. I think the cube is malfunctioning right now.
But again, but we still been serious, guys. We're serious. These things you need to take away from this. You know, go ahead into the Saints. You got to improve on this. This one thing only. Stop shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
that's it.
We all said that the Chiefs. The two things that would hurt the Chiefs is injuries and getting out of their own way.
Right.
And they're just, they're just getting in their own way. And they keep putting pressure on Mahomes, and they keep putting all this stress on this kid. And you know what? It takes a toll. He's had to carry this team for 6 seasons now. The defense helped out the last couple of years. Hey, we appreciate the guy. We appreciate Kathy and Daniel throwing a few bucks our way. We appreciate that very much. You just have to. You have to just at some point they just got to let it go and just go play football again. And they're going to be fine. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. They're going to be in a situation to where we're going to talk the potential for the three-peat. None of that's going to derail them now. It's just what do they do to stay out of their own damn way, and that's what it is.
You know what I mean? So and again, thank you guys for out there for all your support.
Absolutely.
And also one big support, man. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Then we get back into the comments, and then before we close out, go ahead, Nick.
All right. So the big time sponsor, I want to thank Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, someone who can navigate you through the waters of buying or selling a house, good news is interest rates are coming down. It's election year. They probably will go down again. And Eric's got a pretty good inventory of homes available in the greater Kansas City area. So if you're buying or selling, even if you're looking, or maybe you just want to see what your house might be worth, give Eric Haynes a call at 816-729-3785. You can email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
Absolutely. Another proud sponsor is my incredible, amazing wife, Emily Athan. She is an independent health insurance agent. She's got access to plans all over the country. If you're looking for a better plan with a lower deductible, maybe a better PPO network, lower premium, whatever the situation is, even if it's an ACA plan, she can navigate you through the waters of making sure you find the best plan that fits your needs. So for that quote or that consultation, give her a call today at 913-215-9086.
Emily.
No question about it.
He said, no question about it. I love her tremendously.
Hey, I'm not bashful. I'm a romantic. I always will be.
You are a romantic, huh?
I am. Are we doing story time today? You got those images? Because I'll show you my true Chiefs romance.
Oh, man, you dropped the ball like Mahomes. Okay.
All right. Why are you doing that? Let me.
Mahomes like Carson Steele.
Yeah. A couple of people came in today. Mr. Paris, Daniel Akers, of course. Vincent.
Take care of the baby.
Vincent, love you, buddy. Come sponsor. We appreciate Daniel for contributing, Kathy Welch for contributing, Mango for contributing as well. Let's see. We had a new person in here at the beginning. I'm going to find it because Hense is doing it. Kareem was in as well. Kareem's not bantering with us today. Virginia, man, sweetheart, you're all in. I appreciate you very much. Of course, Ruben Demetrio came in for a bit. Sam Paris. These are all kind of our regulars, and we really, really appreciate, them coming in.
Marilee is back.
Is Marilee back?
Marilee, did you go on vacation?
Marilee, where have you been, sweetheart? We missed you. Our
on?
girls' club is expanding. You're the queen. You were the first. No offense to the other ladies. I'm just saying, she was the first female who really, really, she does like us on Facebook and stuff like that. So welcome back, Marilee. We appreciate you. So, for everybody, we just appreciate the love. Again, you can become a member of the site. It's not that expensive. It just helps us pay the bills around here. So we're appreciative of that. And also for YouTube for letting us start to do that. So which is kind of cool. So with that said, you got my story time. We ready?
Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
All right. As everybody knows, I am a collectible man. I collect a lot of Chiefs stuff. My era is the 60s and 70s Chiefs. If you want to know why I'm a Chiefs fan, it goes back to the early days when my dad used to take me to Municipal Stadium to watch the Chiefs play. We watched them on our TV. We hung out with Hank Stram and Bobby Bell. But back in the day, there wasn't a lot of stuff at that age to collect for collectibles. So two of my favorite pieces are these. The old war paint pennant. That's 1966, I believe. Very rare. There's not too many of these around that I've seen in this good a condition. And I still love that old logo. I love it to death. It's still my favorite. I would love for that to be the logo. And then the Super Bowl IV pennant of the Chiefs defeating the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the sad part for me with this is my father brought that home from the Super Bowl. I was not allowed to go. I was extremely upset, and I held my father accountable for that for many, many years because I wanted to go to the Super Bowl. And when my parents' picture appeared in the Kansas City Times at the time, I was really upset because I could have said, "Hey, I'm on TV. I'm in the newspaper." It would have been really cool. But those are kind of I collect all sorts of different things. But those are my first basically two items that I collected. At one point, I had all the AFL teams, but those disappeared over time or sold or lost, something like that. But I think for me as a Chiefs fan, the nostalgia, this is what made me a fan. This is why I'm a Chiefs fan today, because I had such a great early childhood hanging around the team and rooting for them. And that was in a time where, it was life in Chiefs football. And that was it at that age. So thanks to my pops for getting both of those for me. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. Mom and Pop wanted to go to New Orleans for a little vacation, and Nick wanted to spoil it.
Nick wanted to go to the vacation too.
Nick wanted to spoil it.
I think I deserved it, but I was too young for Super Bowl I when my grandparents and my parents went.
Lou is like that kid that it's your birthday party. He come and pop your balloon.
Just pop my balloon.
You said, why was the balloon right here anyway? Why was the balloon right here anyway, Pop? Should go over there.
My sister and brother didn't care about the Chiefs as much as I did, and they were older. And I was like, why don't I get to go? I was young.
Again, man, go ahead and give a shout out to everybody before we close out.
All right. Again, I want to thank Kathy Welch, Mr. Paris, Marilee for being in the house today. Daniel contributed. Again, Kathy, thank you so much. Anonymous Mango kind of started things. So again, we appreciate everybody kind of helping us out here. Great show today. Great crew. We just appreciate everything that you've done to help and support this channel. The best is yet to come. So we're having a lot of fun. We're flying around. Hopefully today we get some good news or maybe encouraging news about Rashee Rice. The longer this takes, that means there's still some question in mind. So with that said, gentlemen, we will be back on Wednesday. We'll kind of take a first look. Maybe we'll talk about the AFC West a little bit and kind of see through 4 games if there's really any team that can challenge the Chiefs. I think we know the answers, but there's definitely going to be a lot of topics. And the Chiefs will be back in practice on Thursday because of the Monday night game against the New Orleans Saints. So, guys,
tell your friends, come and play Chief Who with everybody on Wednesday. Right. Get in the game. Let's go.
And don't forget, because we have this that's gonna be out pretty soon. And we are working out. It's me, Dre, and Mango.
Yep. And there's going to be a special episode too. Talking life. Look at that.
We talking like football and everything else. So with that said, guys, thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for all the support, and thank you guys for always supporting us, guys. Even though you have Dre on here saying some nonsense that he had no business in.
I didn't say no nonsense,
He's
sir.
been a good boy the last couple
I
of
kept
shows.
my Who Day Nation. I kept my Who Day Nation to myself.
Jalen Daniels is a Coach Dre killer, right? He's a Coach Dre killer. That's all I can say. Do the research.